Am I Actually the Strongest? Volume Review. You may already be familiar with the name. Am I Actually the Strongest? It's an anime that's set to begin in the summer season. Kodansha has begun releasing the manga adaptation digitally since 2020. A print release began in March of this year. And now fans can enjoy the original light novels ahead of the anime as well. But are they worth the read? Let's find out. The story revolves around Haruto, a 12-year-old who is reincarnated into another world as the prince of the kingdom. The goddess who reincarnated him promises an easy life and untold powers, one of which was giving him an extreme high mana level. Unfortunately, the goddess did not consider the fact that the technology in Haruto's new world is too low to reach such a high number. So when the king has Haruto appraised after being born, his potential read as simply 2. This is nowhere near befitting of royalty, particularly and his mother, is known as a legendary hero, so the king decides to announce that Haruto died during birth and orders his knights to dump him in the middle of the woods. Luckily, despite being in the body of a newborn, Haruto retains his past memories and can use barrier magic. This kind of magic is usually only helpful as a defensive measure against attacks, but Haruto quickly realizes that he can do much more with the power, just by making a barrier of particular shape. He can use it offensively as well. This comes in handy when he's approached by a flame Fenrir, who initially wants to kill him but ends up being tamed by a protagonist after mistakenly thinking he is a reincarnation of the Demon Lord. As party on the contract, she's named Flay. Despite now having a companion by his side, Haruto is still a newborn without human support. He soon perished due to the lack of milk and warmth. Luckily for him, Haruto is rescued by a nobleman called Gold, who works closely with the king and is aware of Haruto being left for the dead. Cole fakes Haruto's death and takes him into his own family, while Flay as Haruto's maid too, and life be looking out for our protagonist. After the initial setup, this boy escapes 9 years into the future, where they find Flay Haruto still living comfortable lives with Gold, his wife and her young daughter Charlotte. He enjoys his shut-in lifestyle. He practices his barrier magic, but otherwise keeps to himself. However, bandits have recently been setting up camps around the area, and Gold and his soldiers have having to go out and fight them more often than before, wishing to repay his adoptive father for all the love and kindness he's been shown. Haruto often sneaks out at night and lend a hand and ensure none of his loved ones gets hurt. Yes, I'm actually the strongest. It's about as long started an isekai as you can get, with the overpowered main character who thinks he is weak, reasonably I suppose, given the misreading of his talents at birth, a corrupt political situation, and a ditzy demon companion. There's nothing original here. So if you're tired of the overdone tropes of the game genre, then you will certainly be putting it down quite quickly. It also doesn't help that the series spans so long and the setup phase it is hard to tell what the longer running storyline will be. Yes, King is losing his grip over the kingdom, and the queen is trying to orchestrate a reason to get rid of him, but that's not Haruto's problem. He's powerful enough that nothing is going to give him difficulty in the fight, and he's disinterested in the world around him to the extent that there's only so much you can do to embroil him in the wider narrative. The end of Volume 1 suggests that they will head into a school arc for Volume 2, which may or may not be interesting depending on any new characters we met. However, having all said all that, if you're looking for a light and entertaining new read, then the series does offer that. This is especially true of the relationship between the two siblings. Charlotte is afraid of Haruto because she can sense his power mana, but after he saves her and his adoptive mother from an assassination, until she begins to see him as a hero of justice. In the end, Haruto is forced to admit he goes around fighting bandits and protecting people and creates a whole Super Sentai-like persona and outfit to match. Using his berry magic, he gives Charlotte a special mirror which she can watch over his adventures. Their relationship is charming and sure to bring a smile to your face, plus there are a lot of good comedy comment moments that come from their interactions with one another. This is certainly the genre the author is most experienced in as well, which shows, given how smoothly they approach the reincarnation element and overall setup. They have over 10 other isekai series under their belt, and Japan currently owns the only other series to make it to English so far as middle-aged businessman arising in another world, making up names for myself thanks to Goddess Power, published by J Novel Club. Like many other isekai series, this one is based on the web novel and is ongoing in Japan with 5 volumes, although there hasn't been another one since October 2021, so the could potentially have been put quietly axed. As previously mentioned, I Might Actually the Strongest Volume 1 comes to the West thanks to Kodansha, who had put it under the vertical label. The book is translated by Camelia Nie, and it reads well drawn out. Volume 2 of the series have already been released, with number 3 set to appear in English in July. This is ability to look forward to if you decided to pick it up. If a manga is more your thing, then Kodansha's digital releases for the rub for it are out of Volume 7 and Volumes 1 to 3 are currently available in print. Overall, I'm actually the strongest. Volume 1 proves to be a fun but very flow work. If you're a fan of this genre, then you will definitely have seen all these tropes before, which has diminished its values in a market that's so crowded. And someone who spends a significant amount of time reading light novels exactly like this one, I can see that Volume 2 has to step it up a few notches to keep me on board long term. Our review copy for Kodansha was supplied by Turnaround Comics, Turnaround Publisher Services. 6 out of